That night, I opened my parents' trash can and found Scout's collar wedged beneath layers of black bags. The vet's report contained one cold line, heat stroke preventable. The next morning, Mom texted, "Transfer $9,000. We need to make things right before the neighbors make this bigger." I'd kept this family afloat through every financial emergency. This time, they'd learn what paying the price really meant. And in the middle of my sister's engagement party, I turned on the TV screen. My name is Natalie Pierce, and I've been my family's personal ATM since I turned 22 and landed my first real job. Now at 32, working as an operations coordinator at Summit and Crew Logistics in Westerville. I'd perfected the art of saying yes to every financial emergency while my own life remained on perpetual hold. Scout changed that. I found him at a rescue shelter 3 years ago. This golden retriever with trust issues that matched mine perfectly. While my parents doted on my younger sister Brooke and her finance bro fiancé Chase, Scout became my reason to set boundaries. He was the first living thing that needed me for more than money. That Thursday morning in early June started like any other. Scout's wet nose nudged my face at 5:45 our internal alarm clock more reliable than any phone. We walked our usual route through the quiet Westerville streets, past the identical suburban houses with their pristine lawns that HOA regulations demanded. Scout marked his favorite fire hydrant while I checked emails from the Hong Kong office. "Big presentation tomorrow," I told him as he sniffed around Mrs. Patterson's prized roses. "Detroit client wants to restructure their entire supply chain. I'll probably be there overnight." Scout's tail drooped. He always knew. The call came during my lunch break. Mom's voice had that particular sweetness she reserved for asking favors. "Natty, honey, your father's back is acting up again. We were wondering if you could help with the landscaping invoice. It's only $800. Mom, we talked about this. I set up the emergency fund for... Oh, and could you bring Scout by tonight? Brooke wants to practice for when she and Chase get their puppy. Just for the weekend while you're in Detroit." I hesitated. They'd watched Scout exactly twice before, both times returning him anxious and underfed. But the last time, Dad had seemed genuinely bonded with him, even bought special treats. "Please, honey, we want to make up for all those times we couldn't help you." That should have been my first warning. My parents never acknowledged their lack of help. By 6 p.m., I stood in their foyer with Scout's supplies, his prescription food for his sensitive stomach, his favorite blanket, the schedule printed and highlighted. Mom half listened while texting on her phone. Dad watched ESPN in the living room, barely glancing up when Scout padded over to greet him. "His evening walk is at 7:30 sharp," I emphasized. "And please, Mom, he can't be left in the garage. Ever. It gets too hot, even with a Natalie. Please, we raised 2 children. We can handle a dog." Brooke burst through the door, Chase trailing behind. "Is that Scout? Oh my God, he's perfect practice." She air-kissed near Scout's head, careful not to actually touch him. "Chase, doesn't he look just like the golden doodle we're getting from that breeder in Dublin?" "Golden doodles cost $4,000, babe," Chase said, already scrolling through his phone. "Maybe your parents could help with that." Mom and Dad exchanged glances, that silent communication that always preceded them asking me for money. Except this time, they were calculating someone else's worth. "Scout's medication is in the blue container," I continued, desperate to finish the instructions. "Hi, he needs it with his morning food," and, "Natty, relax." Mom's tone shifted to mild irritation. "We're not incompetent. Go handle your little work thing." Little work thing. The presentation that could secure my promotion. The promotion I'd need if I kept financing this family's lifestyle. Scout looked at me with those brown eyes that said he knew something I didn't. I kissed his head, inhaling his familiar scent of vanilla shampoo and outdoor adventures. "I'll be back Saturday night," I whispered to him. "Be good." Walking to my car, I turned back once. Scout sat at the window, watching. Mom was already pulling him away, probably worried he'd smudge the glass. The drive to Detroit took 3 hours. I called twice. The first time, Dad said Scout was fine, watching TV with me. The second time, Friday afternoon, Mom didn't answer. Saturday's presentation went flawlessly. The client signed the contract on the spot. My manager mentioned the word promotion twice. I should have been ecstatic. Instead, I kept checking my phone, waiting for photos of Scout that never came. I left Detroit at 2 p.m., earlier than planned. Something pulled me home, that same instinct that made Scout hide under the bed before thunderstorms. The suburban stillness of my parents' neighborhood felt different that afternoon. Too quiet, like the world was holding its breath. The garage door was cracked open 6 inches when I pulled into my parents' driveway. June heat shimmered off the concrete, and even from my car, I could feel the oppressive warmth radiating from that gap. "Scout," I called out, stepping into the furnace-like garage. The temperature hit me like a physical wall. It had to be over 100 degrees. Then I saw him. Scout lay motionless near the back corner, his golden fur dark with sweat. His water bowl, knocked over, had left a small puddle that had already evaporated to a stain. No, no, no. I dropped to my knees, gathering his limp body. Still breathing, but barely. His tongue, swollen and purple, hung from his mouth. I carried him to my car, my arms shaking. The nearest emergency vet, Maple Run Animal Care, was 12 minutes away. I made it in 7. "Heat stroke," Dr. Morrison confirmed, her face grim as they hooked Scout to IVs. "How long was he exposed?" "I don't know. I just found him. My parents were watching." She looked at Scout's temperature reading. "Over 108 degrees? He's been in heat for at least 2 hours. Maybe more. 2 hours. While my parents did what watched TV made lunch." My phone buzzed. A ring notification from my app I'd set up their doorbell camera last Christmas. I scrolled back through the timeline with trembling fingers. There, 11:43 a.m., Mom walking to the garage with a bag, the door closing, no one returning. Scout didn't make it. At 4:17 p.m., Dr. Morrison called it. Internal organs failed. Brain damage from hyperthermia. "Preventable," she would write on the report. That word would haunt me. I sat in that sterile room, holding Scout's still warm body, when my parents finally responded to my 15th call. "Where are you?" Mom's voice was annoyed. "We're about to leave for dinner at the club." "Scout is dead." Silence. Then, what? He was fine. He must have wandered into the garage when I was getting the cooler. "I have the ring footage, Mom." Another silence. Dad's voice in the background. "Linda, what's she saying? Come home. Now." I hung up. They arrived 40 minutes later. By then, I'd made arrangements with Maple Run for Scout's cremation, paid the $1,200 emergency fee, and downloaded every second of footage from their camera. Mom entered the clinic waiting room wearing her tennis whites. Dad followed in his golf polo. They looked like they'd been interrupted from a magazine photo shoot about retiring in style. "This is unfortunate," Dad began, his CEO voice activated. "But dogs sometimes. You left him in the garage." My voice was flat. "Dead. Like Scout." "I didn't mean to. He must have followed me when I was getting the party supplies. You know how sneaky he could be." "The temperature log shows it hit 103 degrees in there. The garage door was closed for over 3 hours. Mom's face shifted through several expressions: guilt, annoyance, calculation. "Well, we'll certainly help with the costs. How much was it?" $1,200 for the emergency visit, $300 for the cremation. "We'll transfer it tonight," Dad said quickly. Too quickly. "This is terrible. Natalie, we're so sorry." But they weren't looking at me. They were looking at the other people in the waiting room, the young couple with a sick cat, the old man with his limping beagle. Witnesses. "We should go," Mom whispered. "People are staring." "Dr. Morrison wants to file a report," I said. Mom's face went white. "A report for an accident. For negligence." "Don't be dramatic, Natalie." Dad's voice hardened. It was unfortunate, but these things happen. We don't need the neighborhood knowing our business. The neighborhood, the HOA, their reputation, that's what mattered. I stood up, Scout's collar in my hand. I'm going to get his things from your house. Actually, Mom said, recovering her composure with frightening speed. We already took care of that. Everything's in a bag by the door. We knew you'd be upset, so we thought it best to. You threw his things away. Not threw away. Organized. For when you're ready. She touched my arm. I jerked away. Honey, I know you're grieving, but don't make this bigger than it needs to be. The Pattersons already asked why the ambulance was here. Animal control vehicle, I corrected. Not ambulance. Whatever it was, people noticed. We told them it was a false alarm. I looked at them, really looked. My mother, worried about the neighbors. My father, calculating liability. Neither of them seeing the box in my hands containing the ashes of the only thing that ever loved me unconditionally. I need the vet report for the insurance claim. I lied. Of course. Dad nodded. Send us the paperwork. We'll handle everything. They left me standing in that clinic parking lot, holding Scout's ashes as the June sun finally began to set. My phone dinged, the Ring app, alerting me to motion at their front door. I watched them enter their house, Mom immediately on her phone, probably texting Brooke, Dad disappearing into his study. Life going on. Then I saw it. Mom walked back out, carrying a black garbage bag to the bin. Scout's things. Sunday morning, 7:12 a.m. The family group chat exploded. Mom, we need to handle the Scout situation properly. Transfer $9,000 to make things right. I stared at my phone, certain I'd misread. Mom, breaking it down $3,000 for a premium memorial service the Hendersons used them for Baxter, $2,000 for the marble urn, $4,000 deposit for a purebred golden puppy from Dublin Goldens. We already contacted them. Dad, this is the responsible thing to do. Natalie, family helps family. A replacement dog. They wanted me to pay for a replacement dog. Brooke, honestly, Nat, you shouldn't have asked them to watch Scout if you weren't prepared for accidents. That's on you. Chase, the breeder has champion bloodlines. Much better quality than a rescue. My hands shook as I typed. You want me to pay $9,000. Mom, we're all paying, emotionally. But yes, you have the resources. Dad, consider it an investment in family harmony. Brooke, plus the HOA is already asking questions. Mrs. Patterson saw the animal control vehicle. If this gets to the board, Mom and Dad could face penalties. Mom, the memorial service includes a celebration of life that the neighbors can attend. Shows we're responsible pet owners. I set my phone down, walked to my laptop, logged into the joint emergency account I'd foolishly set up 3 years ago, back when I thought financial boundaries meant having a separate fund for their emergencies. The balance should have been $18,000. It showed $11,000. I scrolled through the transactions. Small withdrawals over the past year. Car repair, $500. Medical copay, $300. Household emergency, $700. Then, yesterday, June 15th, 2 transactions. Pet arrangements, $1,500. Deposit DB, $2,500. They'd already spent $4,000 of my money. Without asking, the timestamps showed 3:48 p.m. and 4:15 p.m. Scout died at 4:17 p.m. They'd started spending before he was even gone. My phone rang. Mom, did you see the messages? I saw you already withdrew $4,000 from the emergency fund. Pause. That was for immediate expenses. The cremation, the deposit. Scout's cremation was $300. I paid it myself. Well, there were other considerations. The memorial space has to be reserved. You made a deposit on a puppy while Scout was dying. Don't be melodramatic. The breeder had a wait list. We had to act fast. With my money. Our emergency fund. And frankly, Natalie, your attitude is concerning. We're trying to fix this. Fix what your reputation. Our families standing in the community. Yes. Do you want people thinking we're negligent pet owners that reflects on you too? I laughed. Actually laughed. I don't live there, Mom. But you visit. And when you bring your next dog, there won't be a next dog. Don't say that. You're grieving. The new puppy will help. Champion bloodlines, papers, the whole package. Much more impressive than Scout. I'm just saying, this could be an upgrade. An upgrade. My rescued dog with trust issues and a sensitive stomach. An upgrade from the dog who slept beside me through my depression, who knew when I needed a walk more than I did, who loved me at my worst. Transfer the money by tomorrow. Dad's voice came on speaker. The memorial service is Wednesday. We've already invited people. You invited people to Scout's memorial. He's been dead for 24 hours. We're being proactive. The Homeowners Association summer meeting is Thursday. Better to control the narrative. Control the narrative. Like this was a PR crisis instead of them killing my dog. Brooke chimed in. I sent you the breeder's link. The puppy is adorable. 10 weeks old, house-trained, comes with a year of health insurance. I'm not paying for this. Silence. Then Mom, voice dripping with familiar manipulation. After everything we've done for you, the college loans we co-signed, the car down payment. That was 12 years ago. I've paid you back 10 times over. Family doesn't keep score. Natalie. You're literally asking me for $9,000 with an itemized list. To make things right. To fix your mistake. My mistake. Leaving Scout with us when you knew we were busy with engagement party planning. I hung up. My phone immediately lit up with messages. Brooke. Real mature. Nat. Mom. This is not how we raised you. Dad. Disappointed in your response. Let's be adults about this. Chase. Bro, just pay it. Not worth the drama. Mom. The breeder needs confirmation by Monday or we lose the deposit. Mom. Your father's back is acting up from the stress. Brooke. You're ruining my engagement season with this selfishness. I turned off my phone. Opened my laptop again. Started screenshotting everything. The emergency fund transactions. The text messages. The timestamps. $4,000 spent before Scout's heart stopped beating. They wanted $9,000 total. For their reputation. For their comfort. For a designer dog to parade around the neighborhood like a trophy. I opened Scout's vet file. Dr. Morrison's report was thorough. Time of death. Cause of death. That word again, preventable. At the bottom, a note. Owner inquired about negligence reporting. Provided animal control contact information. My parents didn't know I had this. They didn't know about the ring footage I'd downloaded. They didn't know I'd already started documenting everything. They wanted $9,000 to make things right. I'd show them what making things right really looked like. Monday morning, I called in sick to work. I had evidence to gather. First stop the Pattersons. Mrs. Patterson answered her door in a housecoat, her ancient Pomeranian yapping at her feet. Natalie, dear, I heard about Scout. Such a shame. Mrs. Patterson, I need a favor. Your Ring camera faces my parents' driveway. Could I have the footage from Saturday? Her eyes sharpened. Is this about the commotion I saw the animal vehicle? My parents accidentally left Scout in the garage. I need the footage for insurance. She didn't hesitate. Come in. Harold knows how to download these things. Harold Patterson, retired IT manager, pulled up the footage on his tablet within minutes. There it was. 11:41 a.m., Mom carrying party supplies to the garage. 11:43 a.m., the garage door closing, not opening again until I arrived at 3:22 p.m. This is horrible, Mrs. Patterson whispered, watching. Over 3 hours in this heat. Could you email me this file? Of course. Harold's fingers flew over the keyboard. You know, we complained to the HOA last month about the Millers leaving their dog in their car. This is worse. I thanked them and left with more than footage. I had witnesses. Next, Westerville Animal Control. The office smelled like industrial disinfectant and wet dog. Officer Janet Chen, no relation despite the name, reviewed my documentation with professional detachment. The vet report confirms heat stroke. The footage shows the timeline. This meets our threshold for negligent care. She pulled out a form. I can issue a citation. It's a misdemeanor. Carries a fine up to $500 and they'd be flagged in our system. What about the HOA? We can notify them if you'd like. Most associations have pet welfare clauses. Please do. She made copies of everything. The formal complaint will be processed within 72 hours. Your parents will receive notice by Thursday. Thursday. The HOA summer meeting. Back home. I dove deeper into the emergency fund records. The account required 2 signatures for setup, but only 1 for withdrawals, an oversight I'd never corrected. Every withdrawal over the past 18 months had been made by mom or dad. 23 transactions totaling $11,500. I pulled my credit report. 3 hard inquiries I didn't recognize. A credit card opened in my name 4 months ago, maxed out at $5,000. The billing address my parents' house. My phone had 47 messages. I ignored them all and called my bank. I need to report fraud on my account. The representative walked me through freezing the credit card, filing a dispute, and securing my other accounts. When I mentioned the emergency fund, she had worse news. As a joint account holder, they had legal access, unless you can prove the withdrawals were explicitly fraudulent, not just unauthorized. I couldn't. I'd been stupid, trusting, the good daughter. I created a new folder on my laptop, making things right. Subfolders: financial, legal, evidence, communications. Into financial went bank statements, credit reports, screenshots of every Venmo request mom had sent over the years, $200 for groceries, $500 for dad's medication, $500 for Brooke's engagement party venue deposit. Into legal went the animal control complaint, HOA regulations I'd downloaded, Ohio state law on animal neglect, small claims court procedures. Into evidence went the ring footage, vet reports, photos I'd taken of Scout's empty water bowl in that hellish garage, the temperature log from WeatherCom showing Saturday's heat index at 105 degrees. Into communications went every text, every email, every Facebook message where they'd asked for money, promised to pay back. Guilt tripped me into compliance. Tuesday afternoon, I found more. Brooke's Instagram, public and shameless. A post from Saturday at 2:15 p.m. Champagne brunch with mom, planning the engagement party of the century. Blessed bride, soccer summer love. The timestamp. While Scout was dying in their garage, they were drinking champagne. I screenshot it. Added the geotag data showing they were at the Copper Finch, the same venue where her engagement party would be held this weekend. Then I found the breeder's website, Dublin Goldens. The deposit was non-refundable but transferable. The puppy they'd selected, a male named Champion's Gold Fortune, was listed at $4,000. The same puppy appeared on Brooke's Pinterest board titled Future Fur Baby, pinned 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks. Before I'd even asked them to watch Scout. My phone rang. Unknown number. Miss Pierce. This is Madison from Dublin Goldens. Your mother said you'd be confirming the purchase today. What exactly did my mother tell you? That you'd lost your dog tragically and wanted to replace him quickly. We're so sorry for your loss. Your mother was quite insistent about getting the same puppy, Ms. Brooke had her heart set on. She said you'd cover the remaining $500 by end of business today. When did they first contact you? Let me check. Initial inquiry was May 25th. Deposit placed June 15th. May 25th. 3 weeks ago. When Scout was alive and healthy and theirs to kill. The deposit is non-refundable, correct? Yes, but transferable to another puppy within 6 months. Perfect. Please note that no further payments will be made without my explicit written consent. I hung up and added the call log to my evidence folder. Wednesday arrived with a new message from Mom. Final warning, transfer the money by noon or we'll have to handle this differently. Differently. I wondered what that meant. I found out at 2 p.m. when my manager called. Natalie, I received a concerning call from someone claiming to be your mother. She suggested you're having a mental health crisis. My stomach dropped. She what? Something about a dog dying and you becoming unstable. She wanted to know if you had employee assistance programs for grief counseling. They were trying to gaslight my employer. It's a family issue. I managed. I apologize for the intrusion. Take the time you need. But Natalie, if someone's harassing you, we have resources for that too. I added the call to my evidence folder. Then I made my own call. To a lawyer, to the HOA president, to the venue coordinator at the Copper Finch. Thursday's meeting would be interesting, but Saturday's engagement party would be unforgettable. Wednesday night, I sat at my kitchen table with everything spread out like battle plans. The engagement party was in 3 days. The HOA meeting tomorrow. Every piece had to fall perfectly. First move the emergency fund. I logged in at 11:47 p.m., transferred everything except $50 to my personal savings. In the memo line, for the truth, the remaining $50 would serve a purpose. Small claims court filing fee in Ohio, exactly $50. Second move, Brooks Venmo. Thursday, 12:01 a.m. I sent her $1. Memo line, buy a leash, earn the dog. Her read receipt popped up immediately. Then typing bubbles. Then nothing. She'd gotten the message. Third move, the presentation. I opened PowerPoint and created something special. Slide 1, the ring footage timestamp. Slide 2, the garage door closing. Slide 3, Dr. Morrison's report with preventable highlighted. Slide 4, the Weather Service heat advisory for Saturday. Slide 5, their bank withdrawals while Scout was dying. Slide 6, the text demanding $9,000. Slide 7, Brooks' champagne brunch Instagram post with timestamp. I titled it, Making Things Right, a Timeline. Fourth move, coordinating the witnesses. I emailed Officer Chen at Animal Control, requesting her presence at Saturday's party to serve the citation at the address of violation. She confirmed 6 p.m. arrival. I called the HOA president, Martin Fitzgerald. I have evidence of animal neglect by homeowners that I'd like to present at tomorrow's meeting. That's a serious accusation. Ms. Pierce, I have documentation. And Officer Chen from Animal Control will validate. Bring your materials. You'll have 5 minutes during open forum. 5 minutes at Thursday's meeting. But Saturday, I'd have all the time I needed. Fifth move, the Copper Finch venue. I knew the coordinator, Amy, from handling logistics for my company's holiday party. Amy, I need a small favor. My sister Brooke's having her engagement party Saturday. I have a surprise video tribute. Could you help me connect my phone to the AV system? Of course, what time? Right after the toast, say 6:15. I'll have the tech ready. Sixth, move the small claims court filing. I filled out the forms online. Damages sought $1,500 for emergency vet care, $300 for cremation, $11,500 for unauthorized withdrawals, $5,000 for credit card fraud, $3,500 for emotional distress. Total $21,800. I uploaded every piece of evidence. The filing would be processed Thursday, served by Monday. But I'd bring printed copies to Saturday's party for dramatic effect. My phone buzzed. Dad. Natalie, your mother noticed the emergency fund transfer. This is theft. I texted back. Joint account, legal access, just like you taught me. We need that money for the memorial service. Scout's already cremated. What memorial? The one to fix this mess you've created. I'm fixing it myself. Thursday morning arrived gray and humid. I dressed carefully professional blazer. The gold necklace Mom gave me for graduation let them remember when they still pretended to be proud of me. The HOA meeting was at 4 p.m. I arrived early, setting up my laptop at the podium. The room filled with familiar faces, neighbors who'd watched me grow up, who'd petted Scout on our walks. My parents entered at 3:58, Mom in her tennis outfit, Dad in golf casual. They didn't see me at first, too busy glad-handing the board members. Martin Fitzgerald called the meeting to order. First item under new business, a complaint regarding animal welfare. My parents' heads snapped up. I stood. Good afternoon. I'm here to report negligent animal abuse resulting in death. I clicked to the first slide. The murmur started immediately. On Saturday, June 15th, My dog Scout died of heat stroke after being locked in a garage for over 3 hours. The temperature exceeded 100 degrees. Click. The vet report. The attending veterinarian declared this death preventable. Click. The ring footage. Security cameras confirm the timeline. Click. Brooke's Instagram. While Scout was dying, the responsible parties were drinking champagne at brunch. Mom stood. This is ridiculous. It was an accident. Is demanding $9,000 to make things right also an accident? Click. The text messages filled the screen. The room erupted. Mrs. Patterson stood up. Linda, is this true? You left that poor dog to die and then asked Natalie to pay for it. It's a family matter. Martin Fitzgerald banged his gavel. Animal neglect is explicitly forbidden in our bylaws. Section 4.3.2. This is absolutely an HOA matter. Officer Chin entered the room in uniform. Perfect timing. I'm here to confirm that a formal complaint has been filed. The citation will be issued. Dad tried his CEO voice. Surely we can discuss this privately? No, I said. You wanted to control the narrative. Here's your narrative. You killed my dog through negligence, tried to extort me for $9,000, and committed credit fraud in my name. I pulled out the small claims filing. See you in court? Mom's face cycled through purple to white. You're suing your own parents. I'm making things right. I packed up my laptop. Oh, and the engagement party Saturday. I have another presentation scheduled. 6:15. Don't be late. Why, as I walked out, I heard Martin Fitzgerald say, "Motion to discuss disciplinary action against the Pierce household." The last thing I saw was my father slumping in his chair while Mom frantically texted probably Brooke, warning her about the storm coming. Let her warn them. The slideshow was just the appetizer. Saturday would be the main course. Friday afternoon. I drove to my parents' house. One last chance for them to choose truth over their facade. They were in the living room, Mom arranging flowers for tomorrow's party, while Dad reviewed what looked like HOA correspondence. They'd aged 5 years in one day. What do you want? Mom didn't look up from her roses. I placed Scout's collar on the coffee table. It still smelled like him vanilla shampoo and sunshine. I want you to admit what you did. We've admitted it was an accident. No. Admit you forgot him. Admit you chose brunch over checking on him. Admit you spent money on a replacement puppy while he was dying. Dad set down his papers. What's done is done. Natalie, can't we move forward? Sure. Write a statement acknowledging you left Scout in the garage through negligence. Return every penny you took from the emergency fund. Apologize publicly at Brooke's party. Mom laughed, brittle and sharp. Publicly humiliate ourselves at your sister's engagement. You've lost your mind. You publicly humiliated yourselves at the HOA meeting. That was your doing. She threw down her scissors. Do you know what Martin Fitzgerald said we're under review? A formal review. 30 years in this neighborhood, and all it took was one dead dog to show who you really are. Dad stood, his back problem apparently cured. Enough. You've made your point. The HOA knows. Animal control knows. What more do you want? Justice. Justice. Mom's voice pitched higher. We're your parents. We changed your diapers, drove you to school, paid for. You paid for nothing. I've been paying you since I was 22, paying for your approval, your love, your basic human decency, and you killed the one thing that loved me for free. Silence stretched between us. Finally, Dad spoke. If you go through with whatever you're planning tomorrow, you're no longer welcome here. I haven't been welcome here in years. I've been a wallet with legs. I picked up Scout's collar, the tags jingling one last time in this house. At the door, I turned. 6:15 tomorrow. Your last chance to come clean. Mom's response was ice. We'll have security remove you. Try it. I'm on the guest list. Brooke insisted I attend. Remember to support the family. Outside, I sat in my car and checked my phone. Brooke had sent 17 messages, escalating from confusion to panic to rage. What did you do at the HOA meeting? Mom's crying. Dad's talking about lawyers. You're ruining everything. Chase is asking questions. If you destroy my engagement party, I'll never forgive you. Please, Nat, please don't do this. I'll pay you back for Scout myself. Answer me. We can work this out. You win. Okay, you win. What do you want? The last message, sent an hour ago. Mom says you're not welcome tomorrow. Don't come. I texted back, see you at 6:15. Then I blocked her number. Saturday arrived perfect and cruel sunny. 75 degrees, the kind of day Scout would have loved. I spent the morning at the dog park where we used to go, watching other Goldens chase balls their owners would throw again and again. A reliable exchange. Simple love. At 4 p.m., I started getting ready. Black dress funeral appropriate but cocktail acceptable. Scout's collar wrapped twice around my wrist like a bracelet. His tags silent against my skin. In my purse, flash drive with the presentation, printed copies of the small claims filing, and a photo of Scout from last Christmas, wearing the silly Santa hat Dad had actually laughed at. 5:30 p.m. I pulled into the Copperfinch parking lot, already half full. I recognized cars, aunts, uncles, Mom's book club friends, Dad's golf buddies. The whole performance audience gathered. Amy met me at the service entrance. Your video's all ready. I have you queued up right after the father's toast at 6:15. Perfect. And Amy, there might be some reaction to the video. It's emotional. She squeezed my shoulder. Engagement parties always are. I entered through the main doors at 5:45. The room was Pinterest-perfect gold and white balloons, eucalyptus garlands, a dessert table that cost more than Scout's entire life of vet care. Brooke stood in the center wearing white, of course, while Chase worked the room like he was running for office. Mom saw me first. Her face went rigid, then forced itself into a smile for the watching crowd. She glided over, gripping my arm. You came to apologize. I came to make things right. Her nails dug in. I will destroy you if you ruin this. The way you destroyed Scout. She released me as Aunt Catherine approached. Natalie, where's that adorable dog of yours? He passed away last week. Heat stroke. Catherine gasped. Oh, honey, how terrible. How did... He was locked in a hot garage. Forgotten. Mom interjected smoothly. Such a tragedy. We're all devastated. I smiled at Catherine. Stick around for the video tribute at 6:15. 6:05. Dad started tapping his champagne glass. The room quieted. Friends, family, thank you for celebrating Brooke and Chase. As a father, nothing brings more joy than seeing your daughter happy. I moved to the AV station where Amy waited. Officer Chen had just entered, in uniform as requested. The HOA president, Martin Fitzgerald, was by the bar. Amy must have mentioned the drama to him. Perfect. And so, let's raise our glasses to, wait, I called out. Before the toast, I prepared something special. Brooke's face drained of color. Mom started toward me but stopped when she saw Officer Chen. The lights dimmed. The screen lit up. This is a story about family values. The first slide filled the screen ring camera footage. Time-stamped 11:43 a.m. June 15th. Mom walking into the garage with party supplies. This is Linda Pierce entering her garage. Click. The garage door closing. No one returning. This is the garage door closing at 11:43. The temperature outside was 98 degrees. Murmurs rippled through the room. Mom lunged for the AV equipment, but Amy stepped in front of it. Click. Dr. Morrison's veterinary report. Preventable, highlighted in yellow. This is the veterinary report for Scout, my golden retriever, who died of heat stroke after being locked in that garage for over 3 hours. Gasps. Someone dropped a champagne glass. Click. The photo of Scout's collar in the trash. This is where I found his collar. In the garbage. Hours after he died. Brooke shrieked. Turn it off. Click. The Instagram post. Brooke and Mom, champagne glasses raised. Time-stamped 2:15 p.m. This is what Linda and Brooke Pierce were doing while Scout was dying. Chase stepped back from Brooke, his face a mix of horror and disgust. Click. The text message chain demanding $9,000. This is the price they put on making things right. $9,000 from me to cover up their negligence. Dad tried his authority voice. Natalie, stop this immediately. Click. The bank statements showing the emergency fund withdrawals. This is $11,500 taken from our joint emergency fund without my knowledge. Click. The credit card statement. This is $5,000 in credit card debt opened in my name without my consent. Click. The Dublin Goldens receipt, dated May 25th. This is the deposit for a replacement puppy placed 3 weeks before Scout died. Premeditated replacement. The room erupted. Officer Chen stepped forward, badge visible, notepad out. Martin Fitzgerald was recording on his phone. Enough! Walter roared, rushing the screen. I held up the small claims filing. This is the lawsuit for $21,800 in damages. Mom collapsed into a chair. Brooke was sobbing, mascara streaming. Chase stood frozen, staring at his fiancée like he'd never seen her before. You knew, he asked Brooke, about the dog dying in the garage. The money. It wasn't we didn't mean. You were at brunch, champagne brunch. While the dog was dying, Officer Chen cleared her throat. Mr. and Mrs. Pierce, I'm here to serve you with a citation for animal neglect resulting in death. You'll need to appear in court on the date specified. She handed the papers to my father, whose hands shook as he took them. Aunt Catherine's voice cut through the chaos. Linda, how could you? It was an accident, Mom wailed. Accident. I pulled up the final slide, a photo of Scout from last Christmas, wearing his Santa hat, tail mid-wag. Forgetting your coffee is an accident. Leaving a living being to die in a 100-degree garage while you drink champagne is a choice. Chase turned to Brooke. The $9,000. Were you part of that? Brooke's silence was answer enough. He pulled his hand from hers. I need some air. Chase, wait. Brooke ran after him, her heels clicking on the marble floor. The party manager appeared, looking mortified. Perhaps we should... Yes, Dad said quickly. Party's over. Everyone out! But people weren't leaving. They were gathering in clusters, whispering, staring at my parents like they were strangers. Mom stood unsteadily. This is what you wanted to destroy your family. You destroyed this family years ago when you decided I was worth nothing more than what I could give you. We're your parents. No. Parents protect. Parents care. Parents don't let your dog die and then charge you for it. Martin Fitzgerald approached. Mrs. Pierce, given today's revelations, the HOA board will be expediting your review. I'd prepare for the formal hearing. One by one, the guests filed out. No congratulations, no goodbyes, just the sound of heels on marble and whispered shock. Chase returned, car keys in hand. Brooke, we need to talk, not here. Are you ending this? Her voice cracked. I'm going home, alone. We'll talk tomorrow. He looked at me, something like respect in his eyes. I'm sorry about Scout. Then he was gone, and Brooke crumpled, her white dress pooling on the floor as she sobbed. Dad pulled out his phone, hands trembling. I'm transferring the money back, all of it. Just stop. It's not about the money anymore. Then what? Mom's carefully constructed composure finally shattered completely. What do you want? I pulled out a single sheet of paper. Sign this. It's a statement acknowledging that you left Scout in the garage through negligence, that you attempted to extract money from me to cover it up, and that you've taken funds without authorization for 18 months. That's admission of guilt. That's the truth. They looked at each other, then at Brooke, still crying on the floor. The room was nearly empty now, just us, Officer Chen, and the catering staff pretending not to stare. Mom took the pen first, then Dad. There, Mom said, throwing the pen down. You've won. You've humiliated us, destroyed Brooke's engagement, ruined our reputation. Happy. I folded the statement carefully. No, Scout's still dead. Officer Chen nodded to me. The citation stands. Court date is next Friday. I'd suggest you get a lawyer. She left, and I turned to follow. Natalie, Dad called out. Was it worth it losing your family? I touched Scout's collar on my wrist, the tags cold against my pulse. I lost my family the day you chose your reputation over my dog's life. Today, I just returned the favor. I walked out of the Copper Finch, past the abandoned champagne fountain, past the perfect white roses, past the life they'd built on my back and my bank account. In the parking lot, I checked my phone. One notification, a Venmo from Dad for $11,500. Memo line, all emergency fund withdrawals returned. Below it, a text from Mom. You're no longer our daughter. I sat in my car, Scout's ashes in the passenger seat where he used to ride, his collar still wrapped around my wrist. The evening sun painted everything gold, the way his fur used to look after a bath. I didn't reply to Mom's text, just deleted the entire conversation thread, then blocked both their numbers. Making things right was done. The parking lot was nearly empty now, just a few catering vans and my Honda sitting under the orange glow of sunset. Through the Copper Finch windows, I could see the staff dismantling centerpieces, deflating the reality of what should have been Brooke's perfect night. My phone buzzed a text from an unknown number, then another, and another. Aunt Catherine. I had no idea. I'm so sorry about Scout. Mrs. Patterson. Saw the HOA email about the hearing. You did the right thing. Even Chase. Brooke finally told me everything. Thank you for showing me the truth. I didn't respond to any of them. There was nothing left to say. The drive home took 12 minutes, the same route I'd driven that Saturday, racing against time that had already run out. Every red light, every stop sign marking the geography of my grief. My apartment felt different without Scout's presence to come home to. No clicking nails on hardwood, no theatrical yawn from the couch, no dramatic full-body stretch that said, "Finally, you're here." Just silence and the small ceramic urn on the mantel. I sat in my car for a moment longer, engine off, watching the last of the daylight fade. Scout's collar caught the light from the street lamp, the tags reading his name, my phone number, and, if found, I am very loved. Very loved. Past tense now. My phone lit up with one final message. Mom again, from a different number. You destroyed everything. No, I thought, deleting it without reading further. You destroyed Scout. I just returned the receipt. I grabbed my purse, Scout's urn from the passenger seat, and headed for my apartment door. Inside, I placed his urn back on the mantel, next to his favorite tennis ball and the photo from last Christmas, the one I'd shown at the party, where his tail was mid-wag and his eyes were bright with trust I couldn't protect. The emergency fund transfer was already in my account, $11,500. Blood money returned. I moved it immediately to a new account at a different bank, one my parents would never access again. The small claims court date was set for next Friday. Officer Chen had assured me the animal neglect charge would stick. Justice, served at room temperature with a side of public humiliation. I opened my laptop and created a new folder, After Scout. Into it went all the evidence, the screenshots, the videos, the signed confession. Then I closed it. Court would need these documents, but I didn't need to live in them anymore. My phone buzzed once more. Brooke, from yet another number. I hope you're satisfied. Chase postponed the wedding indefinitely. Mom won't stop crying. Dad's meeting with lawyers. You've ruined us. I typed back one word, good. Then I blocked that number too. Outside, the Ohio night was cooling down, the kind of evening Scout would have loved for a long walk. I could almost feel him there, leash taut with excitement, ready to explore every smell the neighborhood offered. Tomorrow I'd wake up without his nose nudging me at 5:45. Tomorrow I'd make coffee for one. Tomorrow I'd start learning how to live without the one family member who never asked for anything but love. But tonight, I sat in my living room with his ashes, his collar still around my wrist, and I didn't regret a single thing. They wanted $9,000 to make things right. I'd given them something priceless instead. The truth. My phone stayed silent the rest of the night. No more family group chats about money. No more guilt trips disguised as love. No more requests to bail out people who'd let my best friend die for the price of a champagne brunch. I opened the window, letting the June air flow through, not garage hot, not deadly, just summer soft and full of the cricket songs Scout used to cock his head at. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barked, and another answered. The tags on Scout's collar clinked gently as I moved to pour a glass of wine. The sound used to mean he was coming to see what I was doing, hoping for a treat or a walk or just a scratch behind the ears. Now it meant something else. It meant I'd stood up. It meant I'd said enough. It meant that love, real love, was worth more than family who treated you like an ATM with a pulse. The wine was the good stuff. The bottle I'd been saving for a special occasion seemed appropriate now. I raised my glass to Scout's urn. We made things right, buddy, just not the way they wanted. The collar tags chimed once more as I settled back, and then the apartment went quiet except for the soft sounds of an Ohio summer night, the world moving on, the way it always does, carrying its small justices and its permanent goodbyes. I pulled out my phone one last time, not for messages but for photos. Scout at the dog park, Scout in his Christmas hat, Scout on his last morning, nose deep in his food bowl, tail wagging, unaware that in 48 hours he'd be gone and I'd be here, drinking wine in an empty apartment with $11,500 I'd never wanted and a family I'd never see again. The screen went dark. I let it stay that way. In the morning, I'd start looking for a new place, somewhere without the ghost of family obligations, somewhere Scout had never been so I wouldn't look for him in every corner. But that was tomorrow's task. Tonight, I sat with his ashes and his collar and the knowledge that some prices are too high to pay, even for family. Especially for family that never knew the meaning of the word until it was torn from them in front of everyone they'd tried to impress. The tags clinked one final time as I stood to close the window. Down in the parking lot, my Honda sat alone under the streetlight, no longer needed for rescue missions to my parents' house, no longer Scout's chariot to the dog park. Just mine now. Finally, completely mine. Thank you for listening to my story. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Drop a comment below and let's connect. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts. Sometimes the hardest thing is standing up to the people who should have protected what you loved most.